What's going on, people? It's your boy. It's my stupid face. Sorry for last week when we said we're gonna go live and then suddenly posted that we won't. Yeah, the fucking thing burned down. The studio had a power spike or something. I don't know. A bunch of fucking equipment went to shit, including this, which is now a paperweight until it gets to the fucking
I can
warranty.
definitely certify that.
Warranty. I'm here with my buddy Gabriel Marchidan, which is incidentally one of my first and most constant Patreons. He actually wasted his fucking money on this fucking show, so it's my pleasure to introduce him. Tell the people where you're from.
I'm from Iași, originally from Botoșani. It's like getting deeper and deeper layers, but yeah.
We're all from somewhere, from where we were ashamed of something.
Yeah.
Gabi here is an interesting dude. At least I find him to be interesting. He works in IT, which is an overgeneralization. He has a lot of things. Tell the people what you do.
What I do a lot of things. I started with programming a lot. Then I got to software architecture, cloud things like that. And for the last 2 or 3 years, I'm mostly into AI.
And which will be like me trying to not be so dumb while he kind of explains stuff to me regarding AI. And not only, why are you in town for? He's in Bucharest here.
Yeah, I'm in Bucharest. I'm for a summer school that I co-organize with some people from DeepMind, and it's a purely academical thing. But when I say AI, I'm mostly at the crossroads. I do mostly implementations. I don't do research. The people actually do research. Okay. And I guess I'm here to most shed some light on the subject.
Awesome. So yeah, dude, we were talking before about AI. What is AI? Yeah, what is AI as defined by media, and who has something to say about what actually AI is?
It's mostly like so at least AI has 2 types of AI, 2 big types of AI. One is the AI we have today, okay, and which is, it does one thing. Probably that's the biggest thing you need to know. You recognize a kitten in an image, you try to put text to a photograph. It's the things you use tries to place ads smartly on a page. This is kind of a one-track mind in the end. And it's not at all as me and you. So people, when they fantasize about Terminator or weird things like that, it's not this. I'm sorry.
Just raw data.
Yeah, just
being
raw data.
Interpreted.
And it's just a very precise thing. For example, someone who plays chess cannot play checkers or something like really close. It just does this, and
dedicated AIs for specific
dedicated
tasks.
And it can't do this. But for example, a man can go ride the bike and then drink some wine and whatever. And this is generally called AGI, artificial general intelligence. And this is kind of the Holy Grail, at least for the moment. Like having this kind of mind you can reuse or can
conscious.
Yeah, not necessarily conscious, but this idea of can reuse, can do more than one task, can
adapt.
Yeah, can adapt, can generalize better. So AI, like these AIs we have now, can generalize quite well, but can generalize only one thing, the things that we're trained for.
Yeah.
Another second thing that's kind of important about AI is understanding that it not only does one task, but getting away from that task gives very bad results, let's say.
Yeah.
So if you like a teacher to recognize faces and give it a picture of the sea, you might understand that it sees faces, which is a bit weird.
Yeah,
so people don't run like that,
I saw AIs being tested online that they found different shapes they tried to recognize faces. And they found
or weird things far away from the data from what they were trained, there is never zero. So they see things into it, and into autonomous driving and things like this. People have drew a sticker or something on the road, and the car turned right. And the road is straight.
Regarding that, what do you think about self-driving, and will it be flawless, and how much time? And how do you think the public will react to the first inevitable deaths?
Yeah, so I think superhuman level is easy. I think they either did it now or they'll do it really, really close. Superhuman meaning better than a human driving that car.
Yeah.
On average, you have one crash every 10,000, 100,000 kilometers.
There was
this
a
will
lady,
be much better.
Like a year ago, they got run over by a
by the Uber.
Uber. There was
by the Uber car,
and she was drunk or something, or she was.
No, it doesn't matter. So that was actually a bad thing. That was a mismanagement of the AI system. Okay,
All right.
it was not correctly trained and didn't correctly respond. For example, the onboard sensors from the Volvo that have collision detection had detected, but they were switched off, so it wouldn't interfere with the AI. So if you look at the logs, it was really weird. So the car itself, the one didn't have AI. The car, the body,
the primitive recognition.
They saw that something is coming. You must do something, and if that was active or deactivated, it would have braked.
Yeah.
But the AI wasn't probably correctly trained for that, and they lost even the license, I think, to autonomous driving.
Did they?
Yeah. Or at least in America. In America, they're like, you kill someone, you're kind of in trouble about it.
Yeah, but that's bound to happen in the future. I mean,
it is. The weirdest thing about it is who's going to be responsible in the end. So, so superhuman level means that in the end, you'll have accidents. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. So
doesn't that have to do something with like the infrastructure of the roads? Will they be able to go on a country like a Romanian side?
No, they will. I'm not really worried about that because think that people like jaywalk all the time. People jump in front of cars all the time. Bikers don't look the other way and they cross maybe a weird intersection or weird angle. So they actually do detection and collision quite well because they can simulate physics quite well, much better and much faster than a human can.
You think,
Yeah, they do. Like I think even the slowest ones are under 200 milliseconds, and they actually know the answer. Meaning, at this speed, I will collide at these values.
Yeah,
and they can even say that if you're gonna die or not.
I don't question the reaction time of the car itself, because obviously the calculus will be able. I always thought driving AI, how would that implement itself in India, for example, like where there is no law when it comes to
probably
roads.
Probably you kind of need some orderly fashion to do it, but
because I mean a person from India, like a person from my country, from our country, from Romania, right, will know that although you have a green light and you have to make a fucking right, if there's a tram or a bus or somebody's bound to jump in front of the car just to make the station. You know what I mean? Which ironically happens a lot. I don't think can AI be trained to.
Yeah, the idea is kind of AI generally tries to be in the non-lethal zone, but not necessarily not hit something. So at this speed, you're not gonna die, or a pedestrian. So if sees a lot of people on the side of the road, it would actually slow down, mostly to be at 30 kilometers per hour, something when it hits them, which at least from his side of the story is not lethal. Okay, so you'll always have that. Autonomous driving cars will be much more precise than this, because if someone tries to run, it will react faster and probably can drive 50 kilometers and brake until 30. So that's kind of their idea, not avoiding everything, because it knows the kind of.
I'm worried about the fact that it will come to a stop in places where the traffic is chaos, because
probably it will. So probably those things are
so the adoption rate of each country will differ, and we talked about biases and the way AI inevitably tries to shape itself after the data it receives. Obviously, I'm going to have a different acting AI in India than I do in
probably at the start with a vanilla one that kind of is the same. But the times go by, it will adapt to your region of the country. Even.
So how long do you think it has to be tested before? How many people does it have to kill until you're wait a minute?
I think the biggest thing is not that it's going to kill people. Really, I think that you'll feel that it's slow. But the more AI-enabled cars you'll have on the road, then they'll be more predictable. I think the biggest things they're going to try at the start is not your car. It's going to be freight.
I'm sorry, what?
Not your car, but freight. And not private cars, but freight. Even though I tasted in private cars. Big freight is very... First of all, a lot of jobs there, a lot of money to be made there. And second is it's really safe, because freight is long distance. And with roads that are kind of straight, so there are not a lot of challenges in doing freight. Smaller speeds, but you have someone that works 24 hours a day. So the big things are going to come from that, I think, from the start.
What do you think will happen with jobs?
I saw a statistic that 30 or 35% of the jobs in the world actually are tied to transport.
Yeah, we're talking about this yesterday.
And those are probably kind of gonna go away. Maybe not right away, but in 10 years. So people kind of propose UBI, universal basic income, or some weird things like that. Are not necessarily crazy. I don't have actually a strong opinion about...
Here we go. Here's the comments.
Yeah.
This is where they blow.
What comments?
What comments? What people?
So technically, I don't have an opinion if we should do that. but we
But we were
should
talking-
expect that it will happen.
It will happen, but we were talking about the adoption rate for each technology, and I think we were talking about bikes yesterday.
Yeah.
I think, right? So when horses were a thing, and then bikes became a thing, and then motors inevitably, there was a period of 20 or 30 years where the drop off was made when progressively horses started disappearing and the people adopted the new technology. The fear, as I understand it today, is that this drop off will happen in the next 5 to 10 years.
It's going to be real steep.
And you mentioned how what's the percentage of people?
30 to 35.
35% will
worldwide of jobs are tied to transport, either drivers working at a transport company or transport related somehow.
That's fucked up. My brother is a truck driver, for example.
Yeah, but even like bus drivers or supplying software for the bus company. So generally, people see that when these will disappear.
Yeah, of course, it's not just the
it's not like
buses.
but once you replace those, most of these needs will not be needed because you have like computers inside that now have GPS and now have power. So a lot of things right now that there is a market for will kind of disappear. And also, you'll get commodity for it. You'll get cheaper prices. You'll get probably everything almost for free. Also, there'll be a way to like use and store the, like solar power, things like that, because these things have batteries and have like massive batteries to be able to haul long distance. So they can probably like not drive in the middle of the day and they'll charge in the middle of the day. Probably they'll do night. And like this, you'll also use the surplus from, solar power and things like that. But they will work 24/7. For the first time, you'll have this.
So maybe I'm wishful thinking here, but I think 10 years, I think it's too little for this to adapt. I'm just looking at the rate of which our third world to second world country develops and the speed at which it develops.
No, but I mean, for example, in America, you can like where, they have like all this hiring and firing mentality. I think the things we're gonna like in the end catch up the first ones because they're like used to like firing 1,000 people because doesn't make profits anymore.
You're of the idea that jobs will be replaced, right? Eventually new jobs will pop up.
Yeah, some will for sure.
Again, we go back to that adoption rate. Like, will it be fast enough? Because people trap between, I want to say 35 and 50. You're of the idea that jobs will be replaced, right? Eventually new jobs will pop up.
Yeah, some will for sure.
Again, we go back to that adoption rate. Like, will it be fast enough? Because people trap between, I want to say 35 and 50. They're fucked. If that's the only thing they know how to do, there's not enough time for them to.
Yeah, those about 50 will escape pension in the end because they'll be slow.
Yeah, definitely. Back in when the bikes and the motors came, the pensions were like they were old already, so they could adopt that.
And you also have like better healthcare right now. People like live longer anyhow. But
I don't want to like seem ungrateful when it comes to this. I don't even want to go in that style. People are just crazy. I mean, people complain. We're at maximum complaining. The ratio between complaining and the lifestyle today, it's crazy. Like I know we might be blessed, you and me. Like maybe we have a decent lifestyle and we don't have to fear for our lives. And God knows there's a lot of like patches today that you wouldn't believe is today, right, of Earth. But still people complain a lot. God damn it, fucking it's like expectation. What is it? Reality versus expectation? Or minus expectation, I guess. It's like your happiness level. If you expect a lot, dude, and fucking life gives you shit because life is supposed to give you shit from a certain point and you're supposed to adapt to that. If you think you're deserving of too much, then you'll always be depressed. That's what fuck I'm working on nowadays.
Yeah. Touchy subject even for me, this idea of being sad or depression. I told you it's a big word for me.
Yeah. I don't mean depressed. I mean like not being able to enjoy life. Like now it's relative. We talked about using the word depressed, and of course it shouldn't be used lightly. We use it too lightly, maybe as a way to emphasize things, but it is there. I mean, it's undeniable. And I don't want to go in social media because talking of AI, when I mentioned in my past shows that I think AI will be the end of us, I didn't mean like it's going to be a self-aware and activate all these things. Although who knows, but more short term, I mean people in charge of AI will be able to send it in a direction where whatever it feeds your eyes, because we are addicted to social media, will just incite and pit us against each other. So it's still humanly created, but it's more blasted because of AI. Blasted. What a fucking stupid word.
I don't know. It's a bit weird for me. What I see happening like really, really, really close to us, it's probably a lot of living with AI rather than being replaced by AI, because the big thing with AI is liability. Let's say I make a near perfect system. When it fails, someone needs to be responsible. So even in the most celebrated cases, they do radiology and they do tumors, in the end it suggests to a doctor that those are tumors, and the doctor takes the decision. So I think we'll have a lot of this transition period in all of the things, right?
I think it's important for people to learn to filter at least the things they see online.
And another thing, for example, that's still weird, it's probably that a lot the elderly will touch AI, like assistants, things like that, where right now there are some jobs, but in the end, old people die really alone. I think we can improve a lot their lives.
Wise words. Well, I tend to focus on the potential negatives of AI. It's undeniable that it brings many benefits, but at which cost, I guess, is the subject of today's.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of it's a lot of discussion also about human nature. In the end, even what Facebook did of attention economy and everything, to keep you hooked there, it's still about human nature in the end. Someone does it better than a human. If a human came up with that,
but
we would be like, well, they're that good. But now they're using AI.
Isn't technology emphasizing it's magnifying the acceleration rate of, beyond what people may be able to control, at least in short term?
I think control is
first of all, don't you fucking think that technology, instead of civic culture, cultura civica, right? The fucking 7th and 8th grade fucking class that children get, shouldn't they, instead of that, they should get some sort of way or skills developed since they're young to handle this shit better?
Yeah, but I think this, at least in Romania, falls to bigger narrative that people don't know themselves.
Try to move with the mic, buddy.
People are not even taught to ask themselves, why do they feel this? Why are they depressed? What happens? Why are these things happening to them? They don't, let's say, not introspect, but once you look the northern countries like Sweden and Norway and whatever, they do a lot of they don't take life either good or bad. They understand there are consequences. They understand that they're not deserving of everything, and they try to make the best of what they have.
You see that trend in the northern cultures?
Yeah, a lot. That's why they say their children are most happy and things like that. Or again, Netherlands is a really good. I think the happiest children in the world are in Netherlands actually. And
isn't that aren't the northern countries the most depressed? Something like that. Am I too stupid now? I think I read something once. Paul?
I don't know.
Yeah,
they are. I don't know.
But Norway has the most happy people.
Yeah, happiness index is really okay on them.
So are they fucking depressed or are they happy?
Maybe Finland, Sweden.
I don't know.
We should look that up when we actually have our setup back and we can be professional about this shit. And then, until then, wing it.
Wing it, yeah. But this kind of the idea, when you talk about AI, more or less influencing people, these are people that are influenceable in the end. Even fake news or things that are now blamed mostly on AI because it can do it better, or deep fakes that I can take Obama's face and make it say whatever I want.
Yeah, but that's what I meant by
those are actually playing into human nature in the end.
They
are tools,
but just blaming human nature for it, of course. But our inevitable doom will be because of human nature too. That doesn't mean we don't have to identify whatever the fuck clicks and create regulations around that. I don't think regulations is the answer. I don't mean censorship. This is the inertia right now at the moment to just create an equal kind of ground despite the realities. What do you see? Maybe
for me, it's more like teaching people how to think, what they read, what they see. Put it in context.
Yeah,
we were never taught about this because newspapers were trustworthy and things like that. But now with the advent of social media, with
everybody's a fucking reporter,
can write anything. You get a lot of fakes, and artificial intelligence can do deep fakes, which are much better, much harder to verify. Even
plus people react at the fucking slightest thing.
Yeah,
that's the real test. People learning that these things. Dude, did you see the Joe Rogan audio reproducing?
Yeah.
Did you see it, Paul? They had Joe Rogan posted a video of himself just relating that he's the manager of a team made of monkeys or some shit. I forgot.
Yeah.
But it was him speaking because there's such a high amount of data of him speaking online that it was just crazy. Plus the deepfakes. You can't fucking like. I know people say like everybody's preaching like, oh, you should look, but you don't really like.
Yeah.
I saw this like people calling other people title readers. I'm like, really? Did you read everything, every fucking thing that comes across your screen? Click on it and read the context. Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, this kind of idea. Once you have a lot of data about human nature, you kind of really well identify buckets and things like that, which are like the people you're trying to preach to, and you have like subsystems,
echo chambers.
Yeah, echo chambers, and once you try to like sum what those people respond to, and you can, because online news, like sees hits rates, sees a lot of feedback on it, then you can create like much better, like on steroids, people that a person would never think of. It's like something that distills an essence in some extent, and then makes it better. That's kind of the idea of
but
AI.
when the currency is people's attention, and you train AI for that, then that's a weapon.
It's like actually you don't train her for that, you reward her for that. But
you reward her for that,
but
you give her a confirmation bias that that's what it should be chasing.
Yeah, that should be chasing, and you like do a really good function.
Yeah, and then human nature itself tells it what people react to violent shit, to controversy, to pitting against each other. Therefore, it will be going towards that direction.
Yeah, the idea that
how do you regulate AI?
Yeah, so there are two things. First of all, AI with a lot of data becomes superhuman really fast, meaning better than an average or the best human can be on specific fast, and that's like dangerous a lot. But the other thing is that generally regulation in AI has two fronts. First of all is the ethical front. So there are people that are trained into AI safety and things like that, and they do mostly like thought experiments. What would happen if?
Yeah.
And the second part of AI, so being kind of regulating these things, are actually that the big organizations like DeepMind and they create AI that does deep fakes, does not release a training code. So it's not like a big thing, but you cannot retrain it to do fake news. So if you have like a good content creation thing or a good something, you cannot retrain it. And maybe there is like a weird thing. You think that anyone can do it, but to like generate a really good deep fake, you're talking about months of training on a really good infrastructure.
Won't they just get faster by the time?
It will get faster for sure. But right now, there are very few organizations that have the resources to really do those things. Like NVIDIA that creates graphic cards, because a lot of the training is done on graphic cards. It's more about raw processing, a lot of money. Okay, so to do a good deepfakes model, probably you're going to the millions, really easy. But probably for sure, you have like Russia, you have like states that can't afford that. But this guy is not like everyone can like do that, at least for the moment. Yeah,
but with this guerrilla politics going on, that they use anything at their disposal to just. Speaking of Russians, I know that's fucking true. What about privacy, man? GDPR was a fucking failed experiment, wasn't it?
To some extent, it did like underline these methodologies, right? Okay, it was like a fail because it wasn't enough. But if you don't do that right now, at least you can be prosecuted for something. So I remember like one day before the GDPR, a lot of people started sending me emails like, "Do you still want us in your mailing list?" I mean, I was in your mailing list. I'm like, wait, what? So that's like a good moment.
I made a joke when it was voted on social media that it's ironic that GDPR, the voting of this privacy law, just flooded you with emails, flooded everybody with emails in the first 2 weeks of adopting, and even more, I think.
Yeah.
But it was failed because ultimately it's about people's consent, and God knows, Paul, do you read that stuff?
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Never ever. What about you?
No, I don't.
The problem with it, I think, is it should have been adopted with a streamlined process, but some pages choose to like have disagree or agree. Some pages you have to like sell your fucking
say advanced and unclick the marketing data.
Exactly. Create a mail and they'll make you fuck your mother before you have a chance to turn all that shit off. And you're like, all right, use everything, motherfuckers.
The big thing, at least that GDPR did, at least for AI, is that it kind of boxed a lot the window you can use of training. You kind of took 6 months because everybody kind of have to delete the data.
What do you mean?
You kind of have to delete the data. GDPR kind of says that. And another thing that
it
did
is
it,
this?
yeah,
I didn't know this.
yeah, a lot of things are like
Well, this is a step
bounded
forward.
to 6 months. I cannot like keep data of you for 8 years because I have it. I kind of have to aggregate it. Like I can aggregate your preferences being 0.2 towards bikes or something like that. But I cannot have the full history for more than 6 months. So I can like still do some things.
Wait a fucking minute. I think I went to a doctor here in Romania.
Yeah.
And they created the whole fucking file for me and made me sign the GDPR fucking thing. And then I went like
No. But
9 months later, and they still had that data.
No. So there is data exempt from it.
All right.
But the idea is that at least data that you get, like more or less
Online.
Yeah, not only silent but silently. Let's say your browsing history, your interaction with the site, all that is kind of. For example, even you don't have Echo, you have the Google Assistant. They can't store. They can record and send back, but they cannot store it for like 6 months. Another thing that, for example, this changed is the location of data. Generally, it does push right now to keep it in EU. So if you're like a EU customer, you have to be on EU servers, even if they're an American company.
So
and from AI,
they're not allowed to transfer the data to America?
Yeah, kind of this idea. They have kind of use it here and then have consent. And this is kind of the idea that at least AI influences a lot.
Yeah.
Because it does create jobs in Europe in the end. It does create, you cannot process, you cannot transfer it. So you might as well have people here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a lot of protections, let's say EU does. And this is
why I like to have you here, because you're more informed. Like
It's
there
kind
are
of
benefits to it. I just saw it from the perspective of an end user browsing online, and that I thought it was bullshit. But since there is a 6 month cutoff, that can't be too bad.
Yeah, and not necessarily you can aggregate a lot for 6 months, but yeah, at least you have that. You cannot
It's a first step.
Cannot like have a full history of a person. Think of you, Google, that knows all your search history for like 8 years, or something like that.
That's a lot of porn, like URLs to store. I'm afraid for Google servers if they have to store all my shit.
They're good. They're good.
Dude, don't we just sacrifice fucking privacy for the commodity
for convenience? But that's always the case.
Convenience.
But
what's next, dude? Like, I have a Google. I'm afraid one day they'll be like, dude, why do you make your own coffee? Like, we just attached arms to your Google Home, and suddenly I'll piss it off. I'll say the wrong thing about Putin or somebody like Zuckerberg, and it'll go like, hey, Google, Studio Red. And it will just get pissed on me and just fucking ape shit. And then those little arms that used to like fucking stir my coffee will just mini strangle my fucking in my sleep. Like, you are unworthy.
Or you'll see like a red dot on your forehead when you say that.
Yeah. Of course, if it's going to have arms, the first thing, it will first jerk me off before it will kill me. I guarantee Google this.
I don't know if you guarantee, man.
Something else. Let's drop AI for a second, because it's making my skin curl. And tell me about yourself. Tell me, I know you've been in a lot of NGOs.
Yeah.
And you tried to do NGO work, not been in a lot of NGOs.
Yeah, this kind of the idea, probably because I started a weird thing like Botoshan. You kind of don't get a lot of things to do.
Yes.
And I had some friends that, like kind of were into these things. First of all, debate clubs and things like that, which were kind of the first idea of, let's do something for nothing. Let's do something for the fun of it. Let's do something for the hell of it. And after that, it kind of moved to like moving on the mountains, painting some parts of the mountain, with the correct signs, signing some mountains. Then when I was in faculty already, I already been into some top NGOs, meaning like there were like Best, for example, which is international NGO. Okay, and
shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Best Yash, definitely. And after that, it kind of like grew on me, this idea. I was also in GovIT Hub. Also Civic Tech, now Civica from Yash. And
I'm nodding like I know all these things, but I'll definitely have to do my
definitely homework. No, it's fine. But this is kind of the idea. When you see people working, my mentality is, let's see if I can help them to some extent.
Good.
But all this NGO work kind of also did make me, for example, my mother yesterday called me and she was like, what are you doing? I'm at the summer school, and you're getting paid for this. I'm like, no, mother, I'm not getting paid for it. What do you mean? They have like a small budget. I actually paid for my flight here and everything.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the only thing they give me is like a room to sit in. It's like a student dorm. Don't even think the cockroaches are still there.
Yeah.
So it's
they're part of the show.
yeah. And my
part of
mother
the
like, yeah, okay, you know what you're doing, you know. I'm like, okay,
you dude, I had that thrown at me. Oh, you know best.
yeah, you know best, yeah.
But
Yeah.
you feel the worry in her voice.
I feel the sarcasm that's dripping from her words. I'm like, yeah, you know, I know you're with the NGO things, and they didn't even try. But
I agree, dude. It's I wish I would have been involved more or exposed more. I guess when we was born, when we was kids, I just threw rocks in the Black Sea because I was stupid. You went to debate
normal.
clubs.
I don't think so. I think it's normal. So it's a lot about yeah. I think, for example, it's a lot about also example. I had like really nice people around me that did this. I actually even saw a study that said this, that it's not about, if you want like to be a good person, it's not about knowing how to be a good person. It's about seeing other people do it. For example, your mother giving to the poor. Your mother, you know, like
my parents were
physically
my parents were very charitable, and they still are. Well, the one who's still alive at least, but. They instilled that in me, but I find it fascinating about people getting together. I always, at least I tried, God knows, to give back the way I could. But the fascinating things about people getting together, it's just that exactly you encompassed it perfectly. Seeing other people do it, it's like you feel like, what is it? Is it? It's not peer pressure, obviously. You understand.
No, nobody cares. I mean, in my family, I could have done whatever. It's more like probably I was too free. That's why I was free to do all of these things. Which I probably say like they didn't care, but whatever. A thin line there.
Yeah.
But mostly this idea of there is probably no peer pressure to really do things. That's the idea, I guess. You can do whatever you want to some extent.
You mentioned yesterday how much community can pull you away from
either
our addictive side.
Yeah, either good or bad. For example, I also saw. Actually, we started a bit about religion, but we're not going to go into that.
Aren't we?
Aren't we?
Gabi, I think we are. I think we might.
Okay. So my opinion about religion is that it can really drive people to do things that they wouldn't do otherwise. You know, I don't see another framework that's better right now. Although I'm really an atheist, so
all right.
So I'm seeing like very half-hearted.
Can we just mention that we had this talk yesterday? But when we say atheist, I know there's a visceral community. That's why I always say I'll take a decent religious person over a hardcore atheist, because from a certain point, and Gabi agreed, it's just cock measuring competition. It's about being vicious, and about being right, not about trying to improve
it's even gratuitous, you know, to some extent.
I think I learned a lot from criticizing religion in my Romanian shows, because I had a lot of contact with people who
you only know that,
yeah, and not the people who hated it. I can understand the religious people who didn't like what the fuck I was saying. I'm on the other side, the atheist who kind of saw the viciousness from within, and that kind of changed me. We were talking about the way maybe a more smarter media makes you cynical, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's another cutoff when you're maybe finishing school and starting life, and it kind of hits you. Maybe that's not a cutoff where you're, after that, if you are atheist and you have kind of this attitude, I keep saying it, you can't save the world, dude. And what I mean by that is you try to do your part. Ultimately, I think the purpose of life is to realize it's shit, but to try your best anyway.
Yeah.
To try to improve your community.
And a lot of the things, at least for me, is that
this is pro-religion.
Yeah. There's no idea of, I guess you just summed it really well. You have to do your part, and you never have to like feel that you're doing more than your part, or you're like, my life is this. No, you know, do your part. If it's not if it's uncomfortable, probably you shouldn't do it. You know, like
definitely.
It's like, you know your boundaries, you know your free time. I can say, you know, go for NGOs. You know, find an NGO near you.
Plus, some people have certain periods of time where they can be more socially aware, and sometimes it's crunch time and they have to build something.
And not only that,
that can also be an excuse
more like,
for a lot of people.
At least for me, NGOs are a lot of, let's say, egotistic for me.
It fuels your ego.
Yeah. Why? Because
there's nothing wrong.
That's the idea. I get something about being the NGOs. I love I get, like I get a high from, helping people. It makes me happier.
Plus-
It's not like I get nothing out of it. I'm doing it gratuitously.
Plus that hippie NGO pussy, man. Oh,
I don't know,
yes.
man. I don't know where
I'm not saying you would know.
no,
I'm saying
where I'm
guessing.
from, there's like a lot of work. Sorry.
I'm saying I'm guessing. Come on, man. Girls who try to help their troopers. hey, come
I
on,
know.
behave. I can understand religious people. I try not to fucking. But also, there's the other side of me where I'm tired to close my eyes, dude. Like, I'm not going to go into vaccines or whatever the fuck. People are stupid for different reasons, but it seems like I know people who judge religious people too harsh, and I've been part of them. I learned later. My old man always used to say, "You're fucking privileged." I was like, "Why the fuck am I privileged? Because I have a house and two parents, and you're not giving me extra benefits." They did. They gave me fucking
Yeah.
schools and the
All the
attention as
baggage,
much as they could while they worked. But I thought, like, well, what am I fucking getting special out of it? And then you realize, dude, there's people who different reality. So I'm not trying to judge people who didn't even get a chance to be exposed to something that will make them see a pathway, like we were talking yesterday, that they make them see like there's a possibility to get out of a certain condition that they were raised with, seeing in their parents and their entourage. But stupidity, dude, it tends to bundle up around religion. And I get it. People search.
It's very passionate, though.
It is passionate, but it's also a leap of logic. When it comes to voting, I'm not sure the beneficial, the communal aspect of religion outweighs the dark shit that happens there. The cost of that, I don't think it fucking.
I know. I think like.
But people will always need it.
Yeah, that's the idea. You kind of need to be a bit realistic. You can like turn it off and it'll go away. Let's say if you can, I don't think it's a good thing.
No, people will
be like,
always search in symbolism, and through that, they will.
Yeah, you'll put something
religion.
else just in between it, like.
Yeah.
But at least I really like what you did in the old show, the old Romanian show, this idea of religion, people of religion and everything. Because in the end, I think there's a lot of, like different things. I think when people hate religion, they kind of hate the institution. Not necessarily people are religious,
Yeah.
They just hate the over-the-top people, but they say you have over-the-top people with atheists as well. And everything in the middle is like a lot of people. But
True.
those are the vocal ones. Those are people that you truly can hate or can relate to. And it's kind of weird because
the loudest people always come in front.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. For example, I have like a friend at work that is from Kovasna, and that part where we hate the minorities and things like that.
Yeah.
But he said like he has a lot of friends that are like normal. So most of the people you see like burning the flags and they're not like exponential. Same thing for religion. Most of the people try to do at least some good. They don't like be putting God first. They're trying to be decent to some extent, they're decent human beings. But on the long run, you see those that feel that just.
I don't understand Romanian people who. Let's face it, man. There's an overall layer of racism towards gypsies. And I can't. I'm not saying people don't have the reasons or whatever the fuck, but let's face it. It's some of it, and a lot of it is unjustified. But the leap of logic where like they will like an African American person, right? And then they will be racist towards a gypsy or any other fucking right? Like, how the fuck do you do that? They see the cool hip hop videos and they're like, yes.
Yeah.
And like, don't you fucking realize that for American people, those are their gypsies?
They're gypsies, to some extent.
So what the where is that? I can't stand this, right?
No.
I can't even stand positive racism. Where
positive discrimination. I don't think it's racism to some extent. It's positive discrimination,
dude. It's no. I meant positive racism.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend who, not a friend, he's a colleague from school, from my university, and when he saw like a black American dude, he went into that, hey, what's up, my man? But definitely he wouldn't. I call that positive racism. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're scaring the shit out of him. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I guess, like, I feel for black people. Like, they have to like get over that cringy fucking thing. Like, fucking.
They feel like shooting you.
Especially if you visit the Eastern Europe bloc, dude, you're gonna get a lot of that shit. And I feel for you.
For example, racism for us, it's in Romania. It's a lot of also like, let's say, of denial, and that's why I think I hate most about it. Not only people are racist, but they don't even recognize they are racist. They're like, that's normal. That's like the way it should be.
The concept of racism doesn't even.
Yeah, it doesn't really click with them. I felt like a lot of like experienced people. I say, but why are you that racist? I'm like, well, what do you mean? That's normal. And so at least until we like are aware of something, I think we can even fix it. We can even hope for people to fix it.
Yeah, and I don't think it can ever be fixed, or to extent. I think sexism is first, right? That's innate. Black, white, old, young, fat, skinny.
For example,
come as white. Yeah. So that's unifying. Like we always have this
thing that ties us together.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to racism, I'm not sure. I think people will always be scared, like I said, of what's different.
That's the idea. For me, for example, I look at a lot of children because I have a 3-year-old daughter. And children kind of see the differences, but they don't necessarily have a negative correlation for it. For example, when my daughter first saw a black child, she was like, "Yeah, he's black." But you think like PC, political correctness in America, you're like, you should never say that. Yeah. I'm like, but my child saw it. It's different, context like Romania, it just jumps out of you.
I always fucking throw that example where I think if you put 10, just feed them through a tube and you put 10 black women and 10 black men and 10 white women on the other side of the aisle and 10 white men. And then when they meet, they're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Attack. It's different. So exposure definitely is key.
Yeah, this kind of idea. But the more you're like, interact with them, the more you have friends that are black, the more like you really do know people, the more you understand that they're just like that people. They have good days and bad days. They're smart and dumb. They are rapists and really smart people. And
it's easier to separate people by
race, gender.
No, by dumb and smart. Most people are shit, and you just lie to yourself that you're part of the 10%
other part,
who actually make a difference. Which
I saw a weird thing is like
that's what you tell your dick. So it gets
everybody says it's above average, but it's an average because 50% of people are under it. So like if you like having a group of friends or something, everybody's above average, but like what average is, right? I mean, probably some of you should be under it. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
For me, PC has two sides. First of it, it's more like a technical level. So I kind of hate PC as a concept, doing things because, you have to have equality, because you need to be polite, because of this, because kind of
the quality of outcome.
Yeah, tires me a lot. But for example, I've had like really weird things happen to me because of PC. And I'm telling you one. I always thought, because I work in computer science and everything, you want a team, a good team, you hire the best people, and you have the best team. Period. There is no going around it. It's a meritocracy. You get your best people and they work together. But I found in my daily job that's not the case. The most diverse people actually are nicer and actually do perform better on the long run, because in the end it's more like a marathon, not a sprint. In the end, people like also need someone who says jokes, also need someone like really brainy, also need contradictions, so need 2 or more people that are smart, but you also need people that are not so good but do the brunt work. The smart people will say, I'm gonna do that 8 times, but someone who's learning will be like, yeah, feed me, I need to get better at this. And weirdly enough, also with this summer school I'm going in, I was like stupefied when I say, what, we're going to be the admission. We're going to be like, we want to have close to 50% male and women. You want to be like 1 from each country. I'm like, what do you mean? So technically you're going to have someone that's good and they're not going to make it because of this criteria. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have that. I also always thought that stupid. That's, my mind being a meritocracy was like, why? Aren't you like being unfair to those people that are good?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, but they're privileged. They actually can afford much better schools. This kind of idea of leveling the playing field. And weirdly enough, it works. We're the second iteration of this summer school, probably the third, and we're getting one of the best speakers we can get. And
don't you think that's a consequence of the fact that the whole idea of it was based on diversity in the first place? So people flock to that.
No. This kind of idea. So
kind of tickle their egos
in certain areas. I mean, I'm not saying it's a universal thing.
Yeah.
But once you want to like level the playing field, get Eastern Europe on pace with Western Europe and things like that. For me, I feel it might work to some extent. Have equal amounts of both. Have equal amounts of men and women. Have equal amounts of a lot of things. Even if you're not going for a meritocracy. Even if you're not going for, like, I want to get the best people. Because in the end, you want networking, you want those people to collaborate. So your end goals at some point, it depends probably on what those are.
So you would sacrifice peak efficiency for a long run.
Yeah, the idea is I
potential.
thought that it could never work because it's illogical for me. And still it's illogical why it works. But
you've
weirdly
seen it
enough,
work.
from my experience, I see it working.
I
mean,
respect that.
and this kind of idea, like everybody says in computer science, girls are shit. And that's not right. They have their place in the team. They like think laterally at some point when everybody's stuck. They'll have a stupid but brilliant idea. To some extent, it works. It does the job. This is why I thought, like it's bullshit because like you have people that generally you have the best people for the best team. But in the end, my better performing team are those that are diverse. That don't only have men in them, don't only have good programmers in there. Because in the end, it's like a plateau, and everybody like buffet, and everybody can choose what.
I agree.
They have something to eat.
To a certain point, I agree with it.
No, certain point, like, there are certain tasks. What I'm saying is there are certain tasks that actually PC does good to. Not everything.
Not across the field.
Yeah, not
across the field. But when it comes to diverse culture, there's a different thing between diverse culture and sexual diversity.
Let's say diverse culture. For example, you get in this, let's say the summer school, because it's the closest thing I have right now, you get to meet Indian people. You get to meet Asian people. You really get to touch them, to talk to them. And at least you'll be less prejudiced rather than never seeing them and hating them. That's what I mean. So this also is, in the end, the offshoot of PC. We wanted to have all the countries represented. Well, you can talk to someone who you never talked to before, that you might even hate.
The exposure is undeniable. The exposure.
Yeah, this kind of the idea of you being exposed to it. You might not like it, but you say, wow, this guy is a smart guy. It's not like as smart as me, probably, because which I'm from America and you have a really good background in computer science, whatever. But you don't see it as inferior to some extent.
What do you do with the admission process for certain things?
No,
because
if
somebody less, like I said, taught you sacrifice top efficiency for the long run of the project or whatever it is. What if it's forced, right?
What if for admission? It depends on the...
Somebody has to lose for somebody less prepared to win that spot, right?
I understand. But to some extent, there's also a thing. You can see it more like, let's give a chance to people that are less favored than this. Because in the end, you might have a bigger impact giving a good, well-paid job if we can finish the university, I mean.
Yeah.
To someone who couldn't have got it, maybe, but will have a high-paid job in the end. Let's say it's IT or whatever that really pays well. And he might have getting some people maybe out of poverty, which you wouldn't even get for people that are well-spoken, having a good education, and things like that. So yeah, I don't see it like this. I see it mostly
why should the people who had access to education to a certain point, because that's not black and white.
Yeah,
there's layers and layers and grays of how the life gave you chances, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How can you
how much you work?
How do you quantize that?
I don't think you need to quantify that, but what I see, for example, let's say my university, my admission process, they will always have extra spots, but under 10, let's say, for Moldavian people, and extra spots for the minorities, Gypsy, Hungarian, things like that. And for me, I never saw that was taking something away, because the university had 200 places, period, and there was an extra.
Yeah.
So it never felt you were cheated or something.
Yeah.
And I guess probably that's the smartest thing to do. Not say we had 200 people, now we have 180 places, and add, all of those, but see it as, there are 200.
I definitely agree.
Add this.
But what happened at Harvard with the admission of the Chinese children? You know that case?
Yeah.
What do you say about that? Because if they're and of course we can extrapolate this to, it doesn't have to be university. After you finish university, you want to take part in a study or whatever of a project. They impose diversity for the sake of diversity. Maybe sometimes it's beneficial, maybe sometimes it isn't. Obviously, I have faith in the fact that you experienced the positive side of it in IT.
No, what I mean, it exists. I'm not saying that everything is good for that, but it exists, So it's not I always thought it was black and white. For me, it was quite clear. Why not get the best people if you want to have the best results? But in the end, because it's a marathon, because people need to chill out also, because someone has to tell the jokes, because someone is maybe another...
Let's stop there. If somebody has to tell the jokes. You're in IT, obviously. Yeah. What's your opinion about the dude who leaked how the culture was made at Google? There was a dude who made a manifesto of how PC was imposed.
Oh, yeah. that's I think the dark side of PC mostly. I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but that's the other side. I'm saying that some probably like
Yeah, but
thoughtfully.
when you stop and think about it, the joking side of it, let's say the human side of
Yeah.
taking part of a team, you cut that off at its knees when you
Definitely.
impose this like extreme. And I feel the pendulum is in the other direction, where now
Yeah.
the people on the left are very vicious. Because some of them is because they're young and they have no context and they think they're privileged. The others because they have an ulterior reasons. But whatever it is, it's viciousness.
Yeah, always the extremes will be like this. Either extreme, PC or extreme racism, or whatever the opposite of PC is.
Yeah, but the percentage of that extremism is growing.
Yeah, for sure it is. And I'm not saying all the factors of it. What I'm saying is that if you kind of meet in the middle and accept some PC, we might be surprised. I'm not advocating to some extent this idea of PC all the time, everything. Okay, but I am, like there's, I think, that African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone. Go with a friend or something.
Hashtag wisdom.
Yeah, hashtag wisdom. Hashtag Picasso.
What's up, Paul Lee?
It's probably that, judging your situation and seeing if it's a long running thing, you might want to take PC into consideration. Or if you want high impact or over the years impact, it might be beneficial to see it. Okay. Probably for short fire things like getting into university,
I'm just
giving money to someone. I'm not really feeling PC is probably the best thing. But if you want long running things from that, I know, maybe giving money to poor people, which is a long-running thing, not a short-running thing, you might want to take PC into consideration. That's what I mean. I don't really feel strongly, even so, because I was very strongly against it.
Yeah, but you can't.
But I
separate
saw
it
the
like
difference.
that, dude.
But I saw the difference.
But you can't separate it like that. You can't just see the negative sides, and they intertwine.
Yeah, for sure they intertwine. For sure, there's someone in the middle where PC or not PC is a really
I'm
good
concerned
question.
about freedom of speech because I like to run my yap, and I think. I'm not concerned because I'm trying to build my own thing just for the fuck of being free of brands, and not that I wouldn't like some, goddamn.
Yeah.
But I think at least for what's going on in America, and let's face it, Romania is just a delayed effect as a colony of the America.
Definitely, yeah.
I feel. I think it's worrying. I don't want to go into the whole Jordan Pearson pronoun thing.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous sometimes, and even censorship at a higher level, like Facebook is pledging to do.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's crazy. What's your opinion on Alex Jones and all those right-wing extremists being? Because you can't. They're all we're all in a bundle, right?
Yeah.
So if you censor somebody.
Yeah. That's the idea. I think I'd like to go first to Jordan Peterson. A bit.
Go ahead. I love the man.
Because there are two things, Jordan Pearson. First of all, from my background in this debate, is the guy I'd always love to talk to. Yeah. He changes his views based on new opinion. He's a good speaker. He does argumentation. He understands what his role is.
I do not get the hate that man gets.
He understands his role. If you're telling me something, my role is to ask questions to you to clarify your idea so I understand it better. If I'm talking to something, your role is to listen. And this is kind of the idea what Jordan Pearson really, even I think you did a piece with Jim Jeffries when you asked him something about, I said, is the same thing for black people?
Was shit to him. I love Jim Jeffries.
And no, he was shit, but he was right about that thing. Isn't the same thing to if you do that same for black people? Okay, because you were talking about the freedom of not baking a cake for a gay couple.
I don't remember.
That's exactly the idea. And he said,
was it because of that?
Yeah, he gave him like this idea of, what about if you refuse it for black people? And Jordan Peterson did the normal thing. I was wrong. You're right. And that for me is priceless.
Yeah, but that was because edited down. You could see.
No, I understand, but the argumentation of it, for
and
me,
even the fact that he admitted,
had to admit that's your role as speaker. You're not the old holy. You can be wrong. You need to build better. You need to build better arguments, but that doesn't mean I'm changing my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, but that I like. Okay, because at least when you try to have a war of ideas, you will lose some ideas. Some of the arguments are bad, and someone will dismount them, and it's on you to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand about him. That's why I love about him. he's a really good person to talk to, even if you're not on the same boat.
Composed, and every word is
And I love that.
chosen.
Yeah, and I love that.
I
feel that
I don't understand the hate for him. I don't understand why.
and I feel
people
even
so
about
much.
religion and everybody, I love people to be like that. If I think that I'm not, I don't agree with, I'd love to have someone like him in front of me. And now I talk about Alex Jones.
Then we can talk about Alex Jones.
And the Alex Jones part is the opposite. He's shouting. He never takes in ideas. He never changes opinion. He's always don't put chemicals into the water that make the frogs gay and weird shit like that.
He's a shit stirrer.
Yeah, and both are people that I don't agree with. Weirdly enough,
who Jordan Pearson
and this, but oh my god, the difference! I learned a lot from Jordan Peterson on things that I thought I was right on, and
about yourself.
It appears I'm wrong. I also read the book and whatever.
Yeah.
But Alex Jones, you learn nothing from it. Either you echo chamber what he says, or you just hear some guy screaming about nothing.
Yeah, but there's a line between, again, there's gray areas between Alex Jones and...
Yeah, there are.
And where do you draw the line? So are you for Alex Jones being censored, or aren't you? You can't have one without the other, dude.
You can't, I'm sure.
That's the whole idea of freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. And for sure, I don't know, it's about at least funding these people or not. Russia and things like that. That I would not be okay with.
If I don't know, they're trying to figure out if that was the case, but innocent until proven guilty, I think.
No, but that's the front I would try to go after, because that is not okay. But Alex Jones is a voice. It resonates with people, and taking him off will just mean that someone else will fill that void. Yeah. So that's not the big issue.
Fill that void plus the added anger of the people who
he's a martyr and whatever.
You martyrize them, and then you push those people already on the verge.
Yeah, you don't need to be Che Guevara on him. He's bad enough as he is, and the more people see him,
thank God he ain't handsome, dude.
Yeah.
If he would have been handsome, and he could have had that monochrome fucking flag somewhere.
Yeah.
He would have had triple the empire he has. Thank God.
Yeah, not only that, but I think a lot of it is also due to the fact that he also pushes merch, and that kind of dilutes from the idea.
Yeah.
Think of him if he didn't push me. Think of him as Jordan Peterson. What would really be of him? Because
if Jordan Peterson tried to sell me a mug, buy this cup,
or vitamin supplements, or whether
you stay away from Joe Rogan.
I tried to do a chip shot.
It does dilute. It does dilute, but in the end, there's no shame in trying to keep the lights on. But you can see, I don't know, everybody draws their line where sellout used to be. I think I discussed this with Paul, where it used to be you used to have to hide that you were sponsored, but now people are trying to imitate that they are sponsored.
But nobody sponsors them.
Nobody sponsors them. It's fucking ridiculous. But I think deplatforming people. I just push them away.
I think you should do the Carlin thing when he did Pepsi things for Pepsi and Coke. So you're well, I'm selling out, but to both of them. I'm I'm making the money.
Was that Carlin? I think.
Yeah, Carlin did this. He did the.
Did Chris Rock copy him? Because I think
Chris who?
No, Dave Chappelle had a bit where I think, and now Coke is sponsoring me, and I guess I'm with Coke. Wasn't that Dave's bit?
I know, but I know one for sure from Carlin. He said that he did adverts for both Pepsi and Coke.
We all steal, don't we?
Yeah, but this kind of the idea, at least I understand this idea of selling out to some extent.
Yeah.
But it
no,
depends.
fuck you. No. I disagree that you use the same terminology. I'm independent. I wouldn't consider it selling out if it's a brand I trust in and they let me do my job the way I think it should be done. And if I think it's a good product, that's not selling out. That's you representing a product and it's fine for you to get paid for. Selling out is when there's a dissonance between what you think the company that sponsors you represents, and you're still dancing like a fucking clown because you want to get out of that.
I got to you.
No, you didn't. No, you truly didn't. I'm trying to kind of protect some of my colleagues from the industry who do have a lot of sponsors. I have no sponsor. You're my sponsor, dude. And by the rate of which you're drinking those, I think soon I'll be your sponsor.
Yeah, that's the idea. I think you're sponsoring me. Also, I have a T-shirt that I took from the guy that built the hospital in Romania.
Right.
Adriano Scott and everybody. So
stealing.
So actually, I'm also sponsoring them. So if anything.
All right.
But this kind of the idea of I'm not talking about selling out. It's more like selling out and then curbing your ideology or your discourse.
that's
To
what
some
selling
extent,
out is.
yeah, to some extent, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you like, sell out to a brand of shoes, you're not talking about shoes here. So technically, it's not. If you're not promoting it a lot, it's not like a thing, But if it's about, I don't know, something NGO or something that's PC or anti-PC, or having one side and then you're talking about the other, that's really selling out. It's like curbing your ideals, curbing your message. And yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But I guess it's hard not to sell out.
Tell me some YouTubers you like from Romania.
I so try to keep away from them, but I guess Vali Dobrogeanu to some extent.
Vali,
but,
shout out to Vali.
Yeah,
he's been in the same room here and
Oh, yeah?
saw
He
how
was?
chaos it
I
can be.
never knew.
Yeah, we never launched that thing.
Okay, so I guess he's okay to some extent, but I guess he can really do better on others.
Come on, man. He's trying to do good.
And
He's trying his best to be his sarcastic fucking self. Love you, buddy. You bitter fuck.
Why bitter?
I think that's his whole attitude.
don't
He's
think
the
he's
same guy you
bitter.
kind of see on screen when you meet him live. He
doesn't really seem bitter, and you also didn't seem bitter, so I don't know.
Well, I am, my friend.
I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry.
I take it out on Paul. I slap him with cables.
Hey, if he likes it and it works. I'm not.
Who else?
I know that guy from Blogu Vieții that I sent you about Romercial.
Yeah,
he's like 100
I
followers.
subscribed to him.
100 followers.
Let's give him a shout out.
Yeah, definitely a shout out to that guy.
For my Romanian listeners, which is 95% of y'all,
Yeah,
Blogu Vieții is this dude. He doesn't have a lot of production value, but the way he does things, I like him. He has potential. I didn't have a chance to see a lot of his clips, but the one I opened, I definitely
Yeah.
liked. So shout out to you, dude.
yeah,
And,
definitely.
If you hate my guts, what the fuck can I do? I had to move to English.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's about hate. If you want to like talk about you, I can definitely talk about you. How I
let's not.
discovered you, but yeah.
We can go in the bedroom later.
In the
and we can
bedroom?
tell me
Oh my
everything.
That does sound with potential.
Who
But yeah,
else? Come on, it can be just two people.
it's weird, but I think there is. I actually watch a lot of.
Yeah, used to you watch Creative Monkeys?
Yeah, I did, but I kind of died out on me really fast.
It kind of died on me too, but I think
Like
I
maybe a
just
season
listened-
or two, and after that just seems so repetitive. And now trailer is back. I actually do watch trailer again.
I used to like Trailer.
Yeah, now it
But-
came back, and I still do because it's a thing I do with people to some extent. Like I have friends who I watch trailer with, or my wife.
Shout out to Trailer.
Yeah, shout out to trailer definitely. But until trailer came back, I don't even think I ever watched another.
Whatever
episode of
fucking
Robots.
happened to him?
No, he came back.
I know he came back. Like, what happened this 5-6 year period?
I don't know. I think I read something about it, but I'm not so sure. I think it was something like he wanted to do something else and he moved even out of Romania, but I'm not sure. So, if trailer knows, I know.
Hey, dude.
we can edit this, yeah.
No, we don't have to edit this. Shout out to Trailer.
Yeah,
Glad you're
definitely
back,
shout
buddy. You speak too fast. I can't follow. I'm too high.
No, for me, it's fine. I'm from Botoșani and we speak a lot faster, so it's fine.
Yeah.
We actually understand that.
At certain points, I can definitely get that on you. Give me some outside. You don't have to do your all-time favorites, but off from the top of your head, like
From the top of my head, probably, the Vlog brothers and, the Green brothers, whatever they do, they
Yeah.
do really well. I love Extra Credits.
because they did fucking Crash Course too, which
Yeah. Extra Credits, which is a gaming channel to some extent, but they actually talk about what makes game tick. And I really do love to see
on that
the
note-
things on behalf on the other side, like how do you make a gameplay loop?
Yeah.
Because this idea of people like generally love the sense of wonder, but as with art, I really do love people that dissect that.
Yeah.
Why are you being fooled into
There's
that?
also
Why
that
are
dude.
you feeling this?
You know this dude. What the fuck is he called? He does this essays on and dissects games.
Nerd writer?
Not
No.
Nerd Writer. He does it on games too, but he does it very well. If you don't know about him, it's this, and
Yeah.
you'll see it in the video because
Yeah.
I'm too dumb to remember.
Yeah,
but
okay.
he takes a long time on essays, and he does them about games.
Okay,
too.
probably, yeah. Okay,
Now you'd say another one.
yeah. You go on. I'll think of it.
Recently, I like girlfriend reviews. You know this channel, dude?
No,
Dude,
that exists.
It's hilarious. It's about it's a channel. It's made by a couple, right?
Yeah.
And it's narrated by the girl, not from the perspective of her playing the game,
Yeah.
but from the perspective of her watching her boyfriend play the game. And it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Shout out to girlfriend reviews.
Yeah, definitely.
They
Seems like a
grew
good idea.
to like something like close to 1 million subscribers
Oh
in
my
like 3
God.
months And every episode, I like regarding my show that I used to do in Romania, like the amount of work I used to put in making each episode different and having
Yeah.
like a different feel for itself and different jokes. They do that because he edits them, and they also stream, I think, on Twitch, but I'm not exactly into that. But the episodes, the game reviews, fucking hilarious. Definitely recommend for you guys.
Oh,
Girlfriend
thanks.
reviews. If you're into games and you like to waste your time, you can do it with humor side added to it. Quality humor. All right, you go.
Joe Rogan, I guess, to some extent.
GRE, of course.
Yeah.
That's like redundant right now. Whoever doesn't watch it, unsubscribe to this fucking channel too.
I know, but he really does a good job of
No, he does. I don't agree with everything.
keeping the things. Yeah,
I don't agree with everything
Yeah.
that Joe Rogan says, but
not necessarily the things,
he's
but
such a good mediator. Besides being a great comedian, fucking commentator, and whatever.
yeah, that's
the
kind of
fuck
the
else.
idea. He kind of try to give an all rounder to some extent, either conspiracy theories or
Dude, he's
weird
like the
things.
jack of all trades, but the average is way up, like at
Yeah.
95%. He's such an inspiration. Paul, you give me one. You mentioned one earlier.
Wait.
We can't wait, buddy. We're running out of memory.
No.
Panic.
Cody Co.
Cody Co. I don't know about him, but Paul says Cody Co.
Me neither.
So-
What is it about?
You
Well,
know about it.
He doesn't have a mic, so I'm redundant to like I don't have to fix the audio. Which one is he?
With Ty Lopez, like reaction.
Oh yeah, I thought he was a mediocre, to be honest. But I just saw one clip. You can't judge like a book by its cover.
but it's
right?
one clip. Yeah,
But it's one clip on the cover.
You get one for Romania.
yeah, Silvio.
Yeah, I
German
mentioned
is-
Silvio
oh my
German like a
God.
long time ago. I didn't follow what else he did in the last years, but I recommended him back in
He also
Romania
goes to
too.
the live shows. He does live shows.
He does live
Yeah,
live
he
shows,
does.
yeah.
He came to Yash. Yeah.
Is he good?
He's Silvio German. He's like how it's called most cheese. Yeah, you like kind of
Yeah.
get it's an acquired taste for
Yeah.
sure. It's like not you're gonna get for the first, but if you like listen a lot to it, you're definitely gonna love him. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
grows on you like a tumor. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. He's musky.
Yeah, he's musky, definitely.
Musky as fuck. Silvio German.
Yeah, it's a tumor. Yeah.
Listen, we didn't even begin to scratch the surface of AI and everything, but I was so happy to have Gabby here. Thank you for
Pleasure, definitely.
thank you for all your support, dude. And you're obviously such a nice dude. So glad to have you here, and we'll welcome him next time he's in Bucharest.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be like
Tell
a
the
lot of time.
people where you gonna be, where they can find you.
Where I'm gonna be. I don't know. I'm not really ready for that.
He doesn't want to be found. He
Yeah,
likes
that's
his
kind of the
privacy.
idea. Probably if you like need me, you'll find me
He's
To
like
the
Batman.
through the NGOs and things.
I can, if you need me,
It's
I'll
more-
find you.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea because I actually do like really peculiar things. Okay, and if you need me, you'll find me.
He just pops up
Yeah,
behind you.
just ask around. You're like, yeah, hello. Yeah. But other than that, I don't know. It's more like, I'm not around. I'm not on the internet. I don't use
So if
Twitter. I'm
you
weird.
if you need the dude, I will find him for you. I'll
Yeah.
give you his home address. I'll tell you, how to short circuit his car, and
No, if you like really need to find me, if you like really need A for social good or things like that, I'm definitely
I'll tell you
always
where they
here.
won't find you. They won't find you on the fucking beach. That's for sure, dude.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm not sure the camera can I think it's only like a back. We're transparent, dude. You and me both.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We will get back to the live format as soon as hopefully some of this shit gets fixed. I have to send this in for a warranty, which should take about 3 weeks because it's traveling to Germany and back. Hopefully
Whoa.
they'll replace it for me and not have to pay another fucking 800 euros for another setup. I replaced some of the equipment. Thank you for sticking around. If you're still around, check out the fucking, like, Paul's working his ass off to put some good music. So if you like the music on the shows and not only the music I listen to, I kind of created the Romercial soundtracks channel, and you can subscribe there and listen to whatever the fuck I'm listening, and maybe some old shit you'll recognize from the shows. We have the Raw channel, the Romercial, which is Paul cutting up all this long format bullshit into digestible bits where you can have just a little taste of it while you're taking a shit. And do you have something else? Oh yeah, and we have the Romeo Cialis channel.
That's my favorite one. I wanted to say about it if you didn't.
I thought it was a fun play on words. That's the one, Romeo Cialis or Cialis. You can find
That's different.
the all Romanian work, also chopped up into little digestible bits, but also the full episodes of my work. You could always find them on my channel too if you bother to fucking look. But
Yeah, they were like in a playlist. I
yeah,
think.
they're just at the bottom of the screen. They just won't appear in the search. But I know I have to spoon feed you, you little fucks. So doesn't matter. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Say bye,
Thank
dude.
you. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah,
Peace.
bye.